Timmy Joe reviews anything.
Reviewing computer parts on YouTube.
That's
Woo! Gotta be pumped on that, right, Will? Computer parts! Woo!
Oh yeah.
What's going on, people? Enthusiastic Timmy Joe here, making videos about computers all up on the internet. And remember when I ran a computer over with my truck? That was a lot of fun. Essentially, I did this whole thing on a Windows Vista computer without an SSD and only 2 gigs of RAM. And I was like frustrated as all hell and said at the end of it, you know, hey, I'll run it over with my truck, kind of out of nowhere. And then I pulled that out of my butt and actually went and ran over the truck. And I can't believe how it exploded. And it was like a first attempt. I literally just ran over the damn thing monster truck style, and it worked. And I was expecting to like have to get out and reposition it or something. No, one try. So that was rattling around the back of my 4Runner for a couple days, and I was like, gotta get rid of this. So I went over to the electronics recycling depot or something like that, and I was looking at the parts, and I'm like, man, that would be a good video to see if I can get this computer working again. And then when I started peeling back the layers that was the monster truck computer case, I realized the motherboard was absolutely shot. The power supply was pretty cheap to begin with. I wouldn't want to be trying to boot it back up again, that's for sure. So I looked at what I could salvage, and we have the core components of the computer in front of me, and we're going to test them out again today. But before we get to that, what? You're not on a VPN yet? All the people are gonna know your informations. Oh my gosh, what if you're at work using the works Wi-Fi? They can track what you're doing on your Facebook, doing naughty things, huh? Well, get Privacy VPN, lock it in, boop, Android, there you go. Or you go home and you're downloading something, maybe a little gray area on whether you should be doing that or not. Hide it from your ISP, use Privacy VPN. Or maybe you just want to portal into the UK and watch Netflix as if you live there, so you can watch Downton Abbey. Because that's not on Netflix. I don't even know if it is. But you can use Privacy VPN to tunnel into other countries and watch streaming services as if you were there. And it's one of the cheapest on the block to begin with, but your old pal Timmy Joe is hooking up with 20% off of a 1-year, a 2-year, or a 5-year plan with links in the description. Privacy VPN, thank you. Check them out. On to the stuff and things. So, you might notice that some of the parts here don't look quite like they should. Well, I've got a confession to make. I switched out the RAM and the video card because I wanted to keep this video card for some reason. Because 9500 GT, I didn't have one. And I put this little Noctua fan in it, and I thought it was cool. Maybe one day I could test it for reals. So I don't even know why I kept it. But I had its Quadro brother donated by somebody on the channel, and they're essentially like the same video card, except for this one has a gig of RAM, this one only has 512, this one has an SLI finger, this one doesn't, this one didn't get run over by a truck, this one did. So I have the 9500 GT, it's going in my collection. This thing's pretty pooched. I'm wondering if it still works. If you can see, there is a definite wow in the PCB there. There's also quite the wow in the heatsink or whatever. There's a dent right there, as well as this capacitor is just dangling. We're gonna solder it. Oh, I don't want to jiggle that too much. We're gonna solder it back on and see if this thing works. It's got a little bend in the, here, we'll bend that back right now. So video card, check. Hard drive was just laying there, has some road rash. It's not bad, actually. The worst part about it, though, is look at there. Look at it's dented. It's super dented right there. But for the most part, it's just got some scrapes and stuff. I'm wondering if we can get this thing to work, to boot. It's not going to boot, but I want to see if it works. And then CPU was in the socket, and it's probably working, I would imagine, because it was fairly untouched, except for it's got some scrapes on the top of it, and that's because the aluminum heatsink that I was using, not this one, but another one, exploded everywhere and definitely caused some top damage to the CPU, but not a big deal. And then you'll notice this isn't DDR2 RAM like was in that computer, because I don't have that much DDR2 RAM. I don't even know why I would want to keep it, but I was like, I'm going to take this 2 gigabytes of DDR2 RAM out of here and replace it with, I have just a bag of SD RAM from over the years, like a literal Ziploc bag. So I grabbed 256 megabyte Samsung sticks, and this one's totally fine. It flew out and, you know, across the ground, but this one's a little worse for wear. It definitely looks like it's got a bend to it. Let's see. Yeah, there's definitely some flex. And then in that little corner there's a piece broken off. I put these in the slot and, like, you know, put the little plastic tabs down, but that was about it. So we're going to test these parts in this computer I dug out of the garage, and we're using this one because it does all of this stuff. It has, actually, oddly enough, an 8GP slot and a PCIe slot, which is pretty cool. It's a gigabyte motherboard, a GA8i915ME, but it does SD RAM, or sorry, DDR RAM. I keep saying SD. I'm hoping. Wait a minute. Is this DDR? It is DDR RAM. Okay, good. This does DDR1 RAM, not DDR2. So I should be able to test all these components in this PC. We're going to start by cleaning a few things up, soldering this thing back on, plugging everything in, and if I can get it work on first try, that's going to be like 1,000,000 points. But if I have to start troubleshooting, I will slowly eliminate points as I go, and I have to break 500,000 points or I don't win a prize. So let's get to this. We're going to see if we can get this dented ass hard drive working. The RAM, the CPU should clean up fine, and we'll see if we can get some parts I ran over with my Toyota 4Runner to work here in this here computer. Let's do it. Alright, we have a video card, the original RAM that was in this machine, the original CPU, which is a P4, just plop it on the table there. And there is a hard drive in here in case we need to troubleshoot. I'm very not hopeful that that one stick of RAM is going to boot in the system. It has like PCB missing, you know, in a certain part. I'm hopeful that at least some of these parts will still work. So I guess we could go ahead and fire her up and see what's gonna happen if I can find the there. Card hole! We have contact. I'm not hearing any beeps. I wonder if that motherboard even supports dual-core processors. I mean, it must. Alright, so I've done a little bit of Googling. Here's the CPU that got run over. It's a dual-core. This motherboard, I've done a little Googling, probably doesn't support that CPU. In fact, that CPU there might not even support DDR1 memory? I could be wrong. Whoa! Oh, I heard a beep! So that's with the ran over video card in there, and I see a green light. Oh my god, it's booting! It's booting! It's reading the hard drive! Oh. Oh, okay. I bet it's that the CPU's not... I didn't button the CPU cooler up enough. that would make all kinds of sense. All right. If all goes to plan, I'm going to turn this on. It will stay posted. It will try to load that hard drive again to load into Windows Vista, and it'll have 512 megabytes of DDR1 RAM. Contact! Beep. What's it say? What's it say? What's it say? 512 gigs of RAM! Megs of RAM! Start Windows normally. It might not like this USB shit. 3, 2, 1. Windows Vista? Windows Vista? I saw a blue screen. Okay, so as far as I'm concerned, the hard drive, that's normal. It shouldn't boot off of, on a different motherboard. But we got it to look on the hard drive, and it's finding, see, if power was interrupted, start up. This is a start screen for Vista. So everything works except for the CPU at this point. But I believe it's incompatibility with this motherboard. So give me a second, and I'm gonna see if it all works. Alright, because you know I'm a sucker for punishment, here is the damn another socket 775 motherboard. Plug in the crappy broken Quadro into it. Quadro plugged in. I got the E2200 from the Smash computer, and I've got the hard drive here. We'll plug it in one as well. Look at the 3 components. So we've proved the RAM worked. Both the RAM worked in that other motherboard. Plug this in over here. There we go. Plugging it in. Let's see. Will the original CPU work? Because that's the only thing we haven't verified to be working yet. I guess we should put some sort of cooler on it. Not going to be running it for too long, so it doesn't matter. Will it work? Because I'm so done with this. There's a fan back here, and it's on. Graphics card. Beep. Yes! The CPU works too! Oh man! Alright, well I can talk for 26 seconds while we see if it boots in. It's checking the hard drive out, the CPU's working, the graphics card's working, so you can run over a bunch of parts with your truck and they might still work, is the whole reason why I did this video. I'm at Watch Timmy Joe, Instagram and Twitter. This is the kind of things we do on this channel. We run over computer parts and then see if they still work. Windows Vista, I wonder if we'll have better success on this motherboard if it loading any further than it did. Pretty much just blue screened after this was on there for like 2 seconds with the other motherboard. Oh my god, it's loading to the Vista desktop! Are you kidding me? So I ran over parts and they worked. Oh my god, I don't even have a keyboard hooked up to this, so it doesn't even matter. But I'm at Watch Timmy Joe on Instagram and Twitter. This has been a whirlwind. And I don't know, apparently old DDR1 motherboards don't have very good support for dual-core Core 2 Duo processors. So don't even try to update the BIOS with a floppy disk. Just get the hell out of Dodge, get yourself a newer motherboard. It works! Even the freaking, I ran over a hard drive and it works. That blows my mind. I'll see you guys in another video. Thank you very much for watching. I love y'all.